On today's episode of How Much of an Overthinker Are You?, we're going to line up this audio track to as close as perfect as possible. I'm gonna mix a little bit here and try to cut in and cut out as needed to explain whatever it might need explaining and bounce back over to the actual real-time audio being mixed and show you what's going on the screen here. So for an intro, I have a video track that I'm not going to keep. I'm just not keeping the video, so that video is irrelevant. It's eventually going to become this screen capture here that I'm grabbing right now. So with that being said, where did I leave off? EQ and delay and all of these important things, and I'll show you some of the effects I've got going on. I've got a compressor here, thumb tapping these to the screen. I've got a multi-effects processor from Chris Lord-Alge, which I absolutely love these products. I've got a Kramer, different style of compressor. This is more of like a polishing tool. I'll get into that later. That one's not really relevant at this moment. It's always relevant, but at this moment, this one's a set it and forget it. This should be on the end channel of every single mix you make. Something that does what these two things do. These two things right here. This is your bread and butter, your meat and potatoes, your icing on the cake. These guys. So I just set those and forget those. Those are pretty much constant in all of my mixes. Then I also have EQs that are doing different things for different reasons. Here's another one, so I'm going to pin this one. This one's doing something very specific to the overall sound of the guitar and bass together, which I've actually got turned down for this point right now. I'm not sending anything to it, I just know that that's something I want to have in this sound. But I'll get into that later. These are my buses, so all of this is getting sent to these things. Right now, everything's going to the master, to the meat and potatoes. So let's talk about what we're mixing together here. Right now, if I go back to the track screen, I've got a very, very simple click track metronome, 4 beats per measure at 85 beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, let's solo that. This is what everything's get hinged on. 1, 2. Come on, I should move it over. Here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's subdivisions within this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3. Well, I guess that's the same. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you add the and in between the beats, and then to cut that in half again, you say 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... So all of those get some sort of recognition. 1 E and 2. So you're subdividing the 1, 2, 3, 4. Even further. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... That's what you're doing within that beat. I don't know if you know this or not, but you're doing within that beat. I don't know if you know this or not, but... So bring that back to the beginning. Bring that back to the very introduction. So on that track I've got beeping it up, because when you're listening through headphones and you've got all of this stuff playing in the background, this easily gets lost. So you want to pump that up when you're recording, bring it down when you're not. Once you've got a few of the core instruments built around that, such as, for instance, this bass track I programmed as a MIDI file because it'll play it perfectly every single time. So all of my real guitar tracks, starting with this failed one here that I've turned all the way down, and every successive track since then, those are all going to be basically recorded around these two perfect tracks because they're a combo metronome slash, like Kevin's backing tracks. And then this is the lead guitar track that I literally just recorded. So I'm just going to play it raw, and you're going to hear where this delay that's turned on right here is going to overwhelm the entire mix, and when I turn it off, it's going to change everything. Absolutely everything. And this is playing quarter notes on top of 85 beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it's echoing every single guitar note that I'm playing, and it's going to become overwhelming. When everything's all subtle and smooth and calmed down, yeah, it sounds good. But once everything starts coming in together, and yeah, it starts to become way too much. And there's ways to fix that. There's ways to balance that in, work around it, that you as a sound person can do in real time. But all of the basic functions of a delay or an echo, they're all going to be the same regardless of the manufacturer, regardless of what device you're using it on. All of those things, their basic core principles will never change. I'm actually going to eventually turn off this delay and use a different one. That's a lot more, you can fine tune it and use it to your advantage. So let's hear this track from beginning to end real quick.
Playing this Mean Green Machine right here. Mean Green Machine. This song, I want something heavy. I want something saturated. I want something that, just by accident, it's gonna start screaming at us. Screwed it up at the end. I'll be using that screen for later. I still fucked it up. He's overthinking it. He's overthinking it.